Hey, Barker Trash here. Got Energon Megatron I picked up at botcon this year. I've been wanting this for a long time. From way back in Energon, I think this was a 2002 or 2003 this came out.
Okay, so I've heard that this one right here was hard to transform, so I went ahead, took it out of the box. I cheated, transformed him a couple times. Now we're gonna go ahead and get into the review. Pretty good looking figure, boat. One thing that surprised me is just how high up off whatever surface you have him on he sits. Right here you can see just how high up he sits off of whatever surface you set him on. For me, that's not a very good point for a boat. To me, they should have done everything they could to try and get this thing to sit flush with the surface, but very nice colors on this. Kind of a real mix of colors. A lot like I don't remember the name of the figure. I think it was like Energon Sharkticon or something. It looked I need to review that one some other time. I'll show that in another video, and I'll probably pull this out for a comparison. Got a lot of yellow, some painted gold up here, a little bit of this nice metallic blue on these vents. Really is, like I said, a nice figure. All the Decepticons had a hyper mode in Energon, and right here, if I had the batteries, I got the batteries in my pocket, but I don't have a small enough Phillips screwdriver to put the batteries in it, so it would make some probably ungodly noise when I do this, and the guns would pop up. And then in the rear, there's no little fancy switch. You just pull this out to the side and make some outriggers for him with some more launching missiles. This guy's got 4 launching missiles. And when you do that, it exposes some more of that blue that I like. Hyper mode is supposed to be both of these all the way up like this. And these arms don't peg together up here. So the weight of it just makes it kind of sag badly. So for me, the hyper mode would be better served just with the just out to the side, down low, because like I said, this right here, if it would be pegged together and stay up, it'd be one thing. But close all this up, and really, this guy only looks bad from one direction. Looks good from the side, looks good from the front, looks good from the top, even almost looks good from the bottom. But from the back, not so much. Not many things from Energon look good from the back. Let's go ahead and move into the transformation, because I really don't have that much more to say about this except what I've said. Oh, one thing. Inside of this clear area right here, they've got some, I wouldn't quite call it an interior, but they've got hints of seats. So this it just gives you an idea of scale of this guy. He is a fairly large boat. Now that we're done with that, I really have said everything we have to say about this. Let's go into transformation. But anyway, put this back away, split this again, and just to make things a little bit easier to work with, take this big yellow chunk and just rotate that up. That is going to allow these little black things right here a little bit of freedom to be able to come down, and you'll couldn't see that whenever I did it, to be able to come around, and the yellow deal kind of blocks these black arms from rotating. This guy really does have a fairly in-depth transformation. I really was surprised, because when I read the review on this guy, it said he was hard to transform for an older figure. I was like, oh yeah, whatever. I almost had to consult instructions. But once you've got all this done, back here, underneath here, there's 2 pegs that go into the side, into the top of the legs, the back of the legs right here. Once you get that done, just take these, rotate them down out of the way for now, and this whole section up here is just going to take and okay, you have to take, and before you rotate that section, rotate the legs down a click so that it'll free up to where the head doesn't hit, and you're just going to rotate that around like that. Now that you've got this like that, I might should have transformed this thing a couple more times for practice. This is neat. This right here stumped me for a while. The this part with the spark crystal on it is actually going to take and rotate down partially over the canopy. That's what had me, I don't want to say bamboozled, but it bamboozled me. It's not a word you hear very often. I wish I could bring that back. The next thing you're going to do, just I'm going to rotate these up so that hopefully you'll be able to see. This section right here is going to rotate out to the side on both sides. I'm going to keep spinning these boat halves around. Kind of get this out of the way to where I can hopefully show you what I'm trying to get at. The hips right here are going to rotate while you can still rotate that. Move these boat halves again to get them out of the way of this part right here is going to rotate. Then this wheel in the front is going to go into this hole like that. Wait, I might have rotated one too many times. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. This yellow part right here is going to extend up like this on this black hinge back here. Just go ahead and crack that in half for now. And there's a little bitty tab on the end of this one that's going to go into a slot on this one. And that's going to fit together like that. This is going to sandwich up onto the back of it. Pretend that hadn't popped up on me. That was not intentional. Now on the back of the head right here, that is going to peg into that hole right there and kind of stabilize the chest. The chest on this thing is hollow, so you can see straight through it. Okay, now that you got this to this point, you're going to go ahead and take and rotate this part right here back. Oh shoot, the chest popped up. Now you're going to go ahead and rotate this back down over the shoulders. And one complaint I've got with this guy is the chest really isn't all that stable at all. There's nothing, you know, except for that joint at the back of the neck holding it to this yellow piece. Not a whole lot actually holds anything together in the chest, and not a whole lot holds anything together in boat mode either, really. Just those two pegs in the back and, you know, the two halves of the boat mode, the boat hull clipping together in the front. And until you finish stabilizing it, this has an interesting little piece of articulation that the torso can lean. Whenever you pick up the boat halves, it kind of does away with that. Like if you leave them down low like this and just way out behind, you can maintain his lean. If you bring it up behind the arms, it cuts that out. Excuse me just one second, let me just tidy this up. 4 minutes. Next thing you're going to do is take and slide these mini-con ports. Slide these mini-con ports out. And that's going to expose his fists. There we go, finally. Go ahead and do that on the other side. Or to get the feet out, you're going to rotate this all the way from the calf area to right there. And then continue rotating just a little bit further and that's going to give his feet. Very large feet, but with his tail heavy as he is, still not all that stable. And his legs. They have these joints right here that go into the thighs as a swivel, and they are mucho weak, very weak. I mean, they like, watch. Oh my God, the knee bent without coming undone. Well, anyway, it really doesn't take much force at all to get these knees to come apart. So this isn't one you're really going to want to be doing not a lot of playing with, but just because of how unstable he is.
From the front, I really do like this guy. He does look good. From the side, you can really tell just how much of a shell farmer he is. Right at 3/4 of the length of his boat mode is just hanging off his hips. Now, if you don't like having all this hanging off right here, you can very easily just take and slide these off very easily, and that does clean up a lot of his looks. But if you do that, is it really the character, you know? Because I mean, this is part. Because I mean, this is part of the character, is his little ship thingies. So I'm just gonna put those back on for right now. Like I said, the legs are very, very hard to pose just because of these joints right here. Like, I'm gonna try holding it right here to click it out to the side, and I can't believe every time. Okay, but they do clip back in, but I'm concerned that eventually that's going to wear out. And just to show you just how weak, how loose this joint is, you got this right here. It almost can't even hold its own weight like this. So very weak joint. That said, like I said, I've wanted this guy for a long time to get this figure, and in all honesty, I'm pretty let down by it. I love the way it looks. It's gonna look good on the shelf, I'm sure, but deep down inside, now I know what a fiddly piece of junk it is, because I really don't like having something that I'm afraid to touch. So that's pretty much him. Energon Mirage. Don't know too much about the character. I know that big old tidal wave turned into this guy, but that's the extent of it. And now I'm kind of wishing I would have bought that tidal wave rather than this guy. This has been a Biker Trash review. I'm gonna have to give this guy no more than about a 4 out of 10. You know, like I said, displays well, but very much a letdown from what I've had my hopes for a long time. He does have very good light piping, though. I mean, let me bring this to where that is pretty nice. So, anyway, bye.